is across the country, the challenges that the city operators have been facing, and how to improve when it comes to revenue mobilization. We have this and more in our SMB Insight this morning.
As local governments, it goes to the consolidated fund. It takes months to come. You want to collect or facilitate those to collect the revenue. You don't have a vehicle, you don't have allowance, there's no airtime. Minister of Finance, if you are here, because I don't know, because we used to collect local revenue to facilitate local government operations. You decided that you want to have this money. Why don't you facilitate local governments to collect this money so that you take charge in the dispensation? Facilitate, because it is a good business. You have realized that you cannot boost financial performance in the country without local revenues from local governments. Why don't you facilitate local governments to collect this revenue? That's one question to Minister of Finance. The second question, yes, this is a dialogue, is organizing border and taxis. I've been in Kenya, and this is, I think, the responsibility of Minister of cooperatives, trade and cooperatives. Because all taxis and borders belong to circles. There's nothing like RCC, there's nothing like KCC. That is the responsibility of that department charged with that responsibility, or that ministry. What is not happening? Why don't we have coordination in the discharge of these very important services in the country? I think that answers the issue of borders. You go to Kenya and you will see there's no taxi without a circle. It is very easy to organize that informality. Somebody talked about informality. Because if you are in a circle, there are regulations and there are taxes that you pay to government. But here you are disorganized, you are everywhere. And we cannot be everywhere. We must be somewhere. Why sometimes political pronouncements are made is because those who discharge these services are disorganized. And they begin shifting the blame. So what the head of state does, please stay. Collection until you organize yourselves so that you, but now who organizes us? It is the responsible ministry. Minister of local government, you are here. We wanted, because we have realized that for local governments to survive with discretionary powers under decentralization, we must have our own resources. In the presentation, I would have expected, we would have borrowed a leaf from KCC, that they created a directorate for revenue mobilization and collection. What is happening in local governments? Even if you benchmark with the KCC, what are you going to do if the structure does not allow you to perform? So you are simply wasting taxpayers' money, benchmarking, and at the end of the day, what do you do? We have had people move out of the country to benchmark with the other countries. When they come back, they don't come back and plant a tree they saw in Arusha.
That's true.
Finally, I want to thank USID, because they facilitated the data collection. We have the evaluation roles. But how are we implementing? Where is the capacity? Where are the gadgets? You want to do e-registration on what's the phone? What's the data? This is a parish chief supposed to do the business registration, not of the property. There is no data. he cannot walk to that place.
Honestly, to improve revenue collection of Kampala Capital City Authority. I want to get assistance from you to see how best we can also perform as a royal city. We know in revenue mobilization, to do better, we have to address the challenges. As a royal city, we have the challenge of political interference. I do not know whether there are conflicting roles of the members of parliament with the role of governance at the local government level. If the member of parliament blocks the taxpayers from paying because these are voters whom he wants to rely on in the next coming election, it also becomes difficult for an entity to generate revenue. I do not know how you can help us in case you have your MPs who go on the ground to block people from paying revenue or to block people from collecting rubbish. How would you address it with your innovation and experience?
Ministry. But for me, I know our problem number one is our own technical staff who are very corrupt. So as political leaders, we're elected by people and we want service delivery to the people. We are trying hard to go around them so that service delivery is given to the people. With this, I would like to, when I came at something like 16 to get from this workshop, the first one, how did Kampala manage to prevent corruption and revenue leakages? Because most of the revenue are just eaten. What is eaten is more than what is collected in some of our cities. How did you manage to prevent that leakage? With life examples. 2, our problem also in the city, you find areas is more than what is also collected. What is billed and not collected is more than what is really collected. How is your experience in collecting the areas which have accumulated? Because last year we billed more than 3 billion, but we collected only something small. Like this year, let me give for this year. Now we have billed around 2.6. And what we have collected now is 1.3 billion. So the expiry of IRAS is only 28 days. It has expired. That means those kind of areas will be hard to collect it or will be reassessed again. I want those 2 examples. How do you deal with collection of areas and how do you prevent leakages or prevent corruptions? Thirdly, what kind of system are you using to collect your revenue? Are you also using IRAS or you are using different applications? My experience with IRAS, there are some components which still need to be upgraded, especially for supervision and for preventing manipulations. Because you find somebody go into IRAS, download, change the figures, he collect maybe 2 million, then change the figure and give 1 million as is collected, and he gives 1 million. That one, we need a system that can prevent that. And secondly, we need also to have in the IRAS, it is to be upgraded, or a system where somebody is monitored, the work of somebody is monitored on a daily basis. The IRAS have that problem of reporting. You find that maybe it can give you amount of the, how many taxes have been registered for that day, but does not evaluate the work of a person who is collecting that day. We need, I want to know which system you are using. If you are using the same IRAS, then I appeal that IRAS team all the experts to continue upgrading the components in the IRA system that match with the tax or challenges on the ground we are facing using the IRA system. Thirdly, about this one is the policy issues. I don't know how we are dealing with it. It's about the Trade Licensing Act, CAP 101, subsection 13, which says the duration of trading license expired on the 31st of December. Yet we are operating financial year which expired on the 30th of June. Is very contradictory and is very making the work very hard, because we are using calendar year and the financial year, and it makes some people overlap and don't take even 1 year without paying taxes. So how can this one need almost amendment? Although you are managing, I don't know how you are managing it, but for us, we are seeing it as a big problem which is affecting our revenue collection. If possible, should be amended and all the taxes will expire on the 30th of June, so that in the financial year, you know you are starting with everybody. Lastly, how do you get your money from URI? From this one which they collect from buses and taxis, because all other cities maybe are not collecting this money, yet URI is the one to collect and distribute it to the cities. I want to get your experience, if it's really, you are really getting, or we are all not getting it. Finally, of the last. Sincerely, this thing I'm saying is not personal, but we have to love our country. It is not fair to overload ministers of local government with the work that they cannot finish or do it efficiently. You are giving ministers of local government over 130 districts, 10 cities, 54 municipalities, and over 400 town council to manage. Then you are giving ministers of Kampala, only Kampala city, capital authority to manage. Do you want, which one do you want to achieve?
Where there are many mouths.
That one is having too much work, and this one having almost no work. For me, I think, instead of amending local government act to fill the city, we better see how we can bring the cities under the capital city authority. It's much easier and efficient management, according to my observation. People will crack their head and will never find a solution where the city will mix with the rural district. It never happens.
That much as we are looking at revenue, that is the direct revenue which is supposed to come. Let us, I wanted Ezra tell us how they are doing it, so that you all cities can cope with it and go with it. Because I was like, if Mbale can have taxes which have contributed 40 million, why not Jinja, which is near, which is like having 5 million? What is the issue? Now let us implement it, because back user fees, because of so many stakeholders, that's when we came up with the statutory instrument. So what we want to hear is, if you have been collecting and maybe you have been challenged in court, then you say now government, you brought us law which is not being implemented. That would be the best way to handle it. I think Ezra will take us through. I want from now, I'm looking at revenue, not any other thing, because even if we remain, it may take so many years before some things can be done. But this package of fees which is already at our hands, let us now cap it, and it helps us.
The issue is, have you looked out for the challenges that are causing you not to perform? What is the problem? Because one size might not fit everything. Maybe your situation might require a different kind of structure compared to this. One of the issues that we did, I'm glad I was one of the people who sat in deciding what KCC Revenue Directorate is today. But one of the things that we did was to identify the resource persons from within the institution who appreciated the institution, and then work with them to design how we want to manage revenue collection. They knew every other challenge that was happening there, and now working with them was able to show us what are the needs, what are the requirements, and we used to work every day in the evening. Start at 5 and work up to 10 p.m. And at the end of the day, we have been able to realize the pitfalls, and then, but we keep on. We now have a unit on re-engineering of businesses. Because what worked there, the other time when we when we reduced the time from getting a license from 2 months to 1 week and 4 days, we were happy because people were clapping. Until somebody came and said, but why don't I get my license instantly? Now you're not going to tell them that no, you can't get instantly because people were getting after 2 months. Now that is a new challenge that you need to embrace.
Today we began a dialogue between the 12 cities in Uganda to see how we can share experiences, share knowledge, so that the young cities that have recently been established in Uganda can learn from the older sister city of Kampala. Learn especially in the area of revenue mobilization. As you're aware, KC faces challenges in regard to revenue mobilization. If you look at the amount of money we collect, whereas we improved our revenue collection from 35 billion in 2011 to about 95 billion 10 years later, that is 2021-22, the amount of revenue raised is not equal to the needs of the city. Whereas government continues to subsidize the activities of the city by up to about 400 billion shillings every year, the needs of the city, according to our strategic plan, are about 1.2 trillion every year. That means there's a shortfall of around 700 billion. Now, we must therefore improve our domestic revenue mobilization in order to be able to implement our strategic plan. So even as KCCA, we're not doing as, whereas there is that big leap from 35 to 95 billion, it still falls way short of what the city needs. I look at the issues we have: poor roads, pothole roads, insufficient drainages, hence the frequent flooding, garbage collection, we're only able to collect about 50% of the garbage we generate. So then, of course, darkness in the city and many other issues. It's only through improving revenue mobilization, deepening digitization in our revenue mobilization, that we can be able to collect sufficient revenue to have a city we can all enjoy and be comparable to other cities in the world. A number of issues. Okay, many propositions were made. Cities face the same problems. Cities also have the same revenue sources. There's no reason why a young city like Arua doesn't learn from Kampala, so that it establishes the same revenue sources and uses probably IT systems to make it more efficient. So an idea was mooted: why don't we have national laws that can support every other city, so that even the young cities can start off from a particular minimum platform of revenue collection? If we establish about 20% of the laws, we can realize about 80% of the potential revenue that a city can be able to collect. So we are discussing, and we may be moving towards having national laws for revenue collection, like having a national law on outdoor advertising, a national law on street parking in cities, a national law on park user fees, because every city will have a taxi park, they will have street parking, they have outdoor advertising. Why does every city have to evolve its own law when we can have national laws? And of course, why are we looking at this? If you look at the minimum qualifications for the councillors who are supposed to pass these qualifications, these kind of ordinances, they're quite low for the cities. So national laws would, if they're done and passed through parliament, it may help give a buffer to the cities to be able to survive. Those are the kind of things we're discussing today with the mayors from the various cities.
Well, of course, when you look at that, some of the other cities have huge challenges when it comes to drainage systems, and then the others, security affairs. But of course, the other key challenge has always been the fact that sometimes the funds delay to come to help the city administration to at least make sure that they continue with the activities they're supposed to do to facilitate the development of some of these cities. But of course, revenue collection and mobilization has been a very huge reality. Realistically, when you come from the perspective of taxman, that is why most of these particular districts and cities have good offices of URA in there. So that's it for the business insights. But as we go into the break, just to quickly remind you that Zabo is a platform for you to invest in bonds and securities. Use the USSD code *292#, and of course you will be initiated into the Zabo platform where you can invest in bonds and securities. With a minimum of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings, your investment journey can be kicked off with Zabo. Zabo says, my money, my future, and it's powered by Altex East Africa, which says do something new. Just to quickly remind you that the markets on the Zabo platform open at 8:15 a.m. and close at 3:15 p.m. East African Standard Time. You should as well note that these markets close on public holidays and during the weekends. So the rest of the times you can invest in bonds and securities. Zabo, my money, my future. Altex East Africa, do something new. After the break, when we do return, we shall be switching our eyes to the SMB on ground, where Barigi Andrew will be giving us more details as business is happening around and what is happening around the business area in Wandegea. Stick around, I'll be right back.